Hello developers, I'm Yashmakan and welcome back to my YouTube channel. So in this video, we are going to make the part 10 of our WhatsApp loan application in Flutter. If you haven't watched the part 9 and previous parts, then you can watch them right here. Also, it's not necessarily important to watch the previous parts because in this video we are going to make our backend part of the application. That means we are going to code in Python and Flask and make our APIs so that in the next video we can integrate that with our Flutter application. So if you have the basic knowledge of Python, then you don't have any issues with watching this video. Before starting further, let me remind you that you can subscribe to my YouTube channel with notifications turned on so that you won't miss a single video that I upload in future. So with that being said, let's dive in.
So we are on our laptop, and in this video we are going to develop the entire backend, right? So for that, let me just open up my Postman. So right here, as you can see, I created a workspace known as WhatsApp, and then I created some API collections as well. So what I meant by that is these are the APIs that we are going to make, right? So let's create these APIs first. Now, firstly, without creating the API, let's just discuss what are these right here. So in the authentication collection, we are having a sign up. So basically inside sign up, we'll take mobile number, first name, last name, about, email, and gender that we are having inside our application, right? So all of these fields are required to create a new user inside our application. Now after then, there will be a field known as is verified, which will automatically be set as false in the backend, right? So we can check that if with the help of if user exists or not, then it will check the is verified flag. But whenever we create our new user, the is verified flag will be automatically false. Also in the login, we'll simply need the mobile number. So we'll simply need the mobile number of the user, and then we are going to verify if that mobile number exists or not. If that exists in the database, then we simply send a notification to that particular mobile number using Firebase, and then we can match that inside Flutter only. So this was the authentication part, and after then I'm having the calls collection. So basically the retrieve calls mean that we can retrieve all of the calls from the specific user ID. So whenever we create a new user using sign up, it will automatically create a random user ID for that particular user. So we can use that user ID to retrieve all of the calls that he has made or declined or anything with these statuses. So we can fetch that data with the user ID as well. Then we can add calls. So for example, we are going to create a call, or we are using the web sockets to call some user. Then before calling, we'll simply say add call, and we'll pass the user ID of that particular user as well as our own user ID with the call status, right? So we can set the call status as calling. Now, if the user declined the call, then we can set this call status to declined as well using the same API. And if the call is accepted, then we simply say call is accepted. And then we can add some additional fields like time frame, how much time the user called and had a conversation. After then, I'm having this update call status. So here in this API, we are going to update the call status, right? So I'm going to pass the call ID and the call status, and then we are also going to pass the other call ID as well. And that's it, so that we can update the status that I have talked about here right now. Then we are having these retrieve messages. So all of the messages inside my home page that I'm getting, I can get that using this particular API by just passing the user ID. And then we have the messages. So to fetch a particular user's message, what we have to do is that we have to pass that particular user ID and then user ID of my own, so that we can fetch the conversation between these two users from the database. Then I'm having a send message API. So what this API will basically do, this will send a message and store the message information inside our database so that we can retrieve it later on. But for the real-time communication, we are going to use WebSockets only to send and receive data, right? Now, if the user exists or not, then we are going to simply pass the mobile number and then check if the user exists or not. Then we have the update user, where we can simply update the user fields, like all of the sign up fields that we are having. First name, last name, about, email, gender. We can update these information. Then we have delete user as well. So we just have to pass the user ID and the user can be removed. And also we are having a user where we can pass the user ID of that specific user and then get information about it. So for example, I have to fetch data about my own user, then I can pass the user ID. Else, if I want to pass someone else's details, then we can pass that particular user ID of the user. So basically, these are the APIs that we are going to make in this video inside Python and Flask. So let's just open up and create a project. Inside my WhatsApp application folder, what I'm going to do is that here we already have created the API, right, for the notification part. So I'm going to simply use this API only. So let me open up in code editor. Cool. So this is our complete project. Yet we have created our API. Cool. So right now, basically inside our main.py, we are having this send notification endpoint. So, okay. Now what we are going to do is that we are going to structure our API. So basically right now, let's just create a new folder inside our root and name it as blueprints. And inside here, we create all our blueprints. So basically the collection, authentication, then I'm having another collection known as calls, Then I'm having another known as message. And then I'm having user. So these are the collections. Also, I'm going to create a new folder known as Firebase functions. Cool. Now, inside our Firebase function, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create a new file init.py. Now here, let us first remove this. From blueprints dot firebase function. So let's just remove this and rename it to firebase function. So what we are going to do is that we are going to import the blueprint from the Firebase functions, and then we are going to import as Firebase blueprint. And blueprint. But here we are going to here we are going to create the blueprint and blueprint Firebase function name and the URL prefix as this. Now let's create this blueprint. Actually, no. Now what I'm going to do is that I'm simply going to say app.register blueprint and Firebase blueprint. I'm simply going to cut it out from here and paste it right here. And here instead of app, we're going to use blueprint. And let's import request as well. And also the send notifications. So let's just cut it out first. So that's how we separated our function send notification API and inserted it inside a collection. And then we are creating a blueprint from it. And then we are passing that blueprint to the Flask app object. Cool. Similarly, let's just create our else API. So let's go to the authentication. But let's just first go here inside our root page and let's go to the model and let's create a new file, a user model. So here we are going to create a user model. So class user. Okay. Also my pieces are not changed. So let me just change the four of you. Similarly, what I'm going to do, I'm going to get all of these. So just sign up. You can see that. Mobile number, first name, last name, about, email, gender, right? And then we are simply going to do like this. So my mobile number, first name, last name, about, email, and gender as well. Correct, right. Else I don't need it for now. I'm going to remove it. So this is basically a simple user model. We are going to close this. This is used to create a JSON object from our user model, right? Huh. Now let's just go to our blueprints. Inside authentication, let's just create the image file. Here, from class import blueprint, blueprint equals to not file based something, authenticate, and then the UI is authenticate. Perfect. Here we can create all our endpoints now. But first, let's just create this as well. So from blueprints dot authentication import blueprint as authentication blueprint and then register this as app dot register blueprint authentication blueprint. Great. So here all our API will work for the authentication. So let's just create add blueprint dot route for login, def login. Let's just first change for here 12 over. Now let's just go here, open request dot get for equals to true, and then this is our data. Now let's just return this data for now. Next data success, comma, data. Right. So let's just run the app and test if it is working, everything is working or not. Then we can continue working on this API. Right. So just delete it, create a new terminal, and then run the app. I'm going to confirm here only. Python. Okay, so here we are having an error. So inside our modules and notification part. Okay, so basically the database URL I am passing here as this, so I have to change that as well. To initialize the app, let's just change this right here. So I'm going to open up my Firebase, fetch that URL, or service account key also missing. So let's add that as well, right? Okay. Let me try to the application. Not without the data API. Yes, it's working perfectly. So as you can see, that this is where we are hosting our API for now, the local host that we are having. So let me just close the Firebase. Right. Now let's just go to the Postman and go to the login API. Let's go here and close the model. Go here, post because then let's just send it. Okay, so we have asked the authentication slash login. So authentication comes from here, the URL prefix, and then we are passing the endpoint. I forwarded that request will be go JSON. So let's just see if it is working on this or not. So inside of form detail, let's just give raw and pass JSON mobile number and some mobile number. And you can see that we retrieve status equals to success and the data that we passed. That means that our API is working perfectly. Now, let's just start working, right? So inside the login, what we require just the mobile number. So from data, we'll simply fetch the mobile number, data mobile number. It's underscore. No, it's not underscore. Okay, let's just keep it same. So let's just change it right here. Okay. Now what we are going to do is that we're going to check if the user exists or not. So let's just create this endpoint as well for user. So let's just create a utils b-byee, and here let's just create the user exist function. Now let me just change the spaces again for this file as well. Now we'll pass the mobile number, and then it will fetch the database here. So let's just rename this utils to the database connection we are having, right? In database, we'll create a class for better understanding. For the database, we are going to use MongoDB, right? So I'm going to do that integration part later on. So let's just pass meeting idea. Okay, and let's say def this user exists. We'll pass the mobile number, and then it will fetch from the database if the user exists or not. Let's just return true for now. Here, we'll do that. We'll create a database object if user exists. Then we are going to return equals to true. State code equals to 200. Message user exists. Also, what we have to do is that we have to check dot is user verified or not. Here, let's just create another function def user verified self, and then just pass us through. And here users can be logged in, send OTP. Right. Now let's just stay here. So we get true, success equal to 200, and user can be logged in, send OTP. So after that, we can check that okay, this mobile number exists, and we can send the OTP file to, and then match that OTP inside of that application only. Now we will decide written in else. Now we'll create another request for the sign up. And now what we'll do is that inside our user model, so let's just create a function here. JSON to user model. Okay. In part of JSON and create a user model from it. So about doesn't take email, JSON, gender, then you can take the model. You can pass data. Then we check if the mobile number exists or not, and then the other user already taken it. So we are simply going to add that database. So database.add user, and then we are passing it. So let's go to the database. Then create def add user, self user, and then pass. We are going to add user. Now, so these are the two endpoints basically that we are going to use for the authentication. And that is complete. We are going to do a call and do that. Okay. Here, what we are going to do is that let's just open up the authentication. Copy these lines. Or you're going to need these. I'm not going to remove this. And now for three calls. Should be helpful user ID. Without any form data, let me put here or pass user ID. Or creating a user, we have to add user. Here, Hi. Good time. Get random ID, get called directly. Basically, now let's just we have to import it also. Dot random ID generator. Import random ID generator. No, get random ID. Yeah, exactly. And it is removed. So we are simply going to first assign the user ID, a random 16-digit ID, hexadecimal, and then we're going to add that user. Perfect. Great. So then let's just go on to the call section. Now, what basically we can do, move on the login. What's the API name? Retrieve call. Okay. Let's just retrieve the calls. Firstly, let's just change the view section to 4 again. Okay. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my right. So what I'm going to do is call and then pass the user ID. Great. So let's just go to the database. We have our database inside the database of b-byee. Let's just go to the test calls and then pass user ID. Cool. Then we have the calls. Let's just take this once. Okay. Once we have the calls, we'll test. Then we say localhost found. Call count and we pass the call. Instead of call, there is pass of data. That's more universal. Great. We are creating this API as well. Let's just create another API. Add a call. Add a call. Whenever we call, it can be used. Okay, we can do this. Like that. So, status. The time. Great. Now, what we will do, we simply going to say, if first call exists, so then we call exist. Call RBQ. Now, then add call. One second. Let's just create a call model as well. So inside our let's just set the space over there. Well, have to change it to one more important. Okay. Time of call, and then event of call. So basically, having call comma call We are going to user ID, user ID, copy the and so we are going to user like JSON to call model. Then call the data, and then object. Right. Great. Now we have the call. What do we do? Alright. Add the call, back after the call, add call takes and then we'll return that call added successfully. Now that we are having is this update call status. Similar to previous API that we have call ID, call status. So basically, let's just copy this complete function and let's paste it. Update call status. So now we don't have to pass update thing. We just have to pass and get the rest. Change call state update call status and we'll pass the call ID call status. Now gibberish. So send we have an error. Okay, what is the error? Login. And then retrieve the calls. So basically, retrieve calls. This endpoint we have to pass. As in, okay, 404 not found. Okay, so I pass this calls and then retrieve calls. That's not picking the I get it because and let's just copy the computer. Now what I'll call it is we should let's take it back. Let's just send call updated successfully. Right. So our complete call that checked the authentication part is completed. Now retrieve it. Now import from method import random ID user model three messages. Let's just change the spaces again to 4. We have it. and I have an idea. No, We say group ID. And cases,
So that's it for this video. If you like the video, then make sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you have any doubts, suggestions, then you can drop below that as well. So with that being said, I'm Ishmakan. Peace out.